Hi, Steve here. In this second tutorial, we're going to look at the left-hand side here about the meetings, etc., and along the top here, and we will talk about this right-hand side here in the next video. First of all, when you get the software, auto reload is already ticked, and if we tick through here, we can see these are the venues and the races for each backing tab. So it's quite possible if we go to tab back one here and only have and tick Great Britain and then hit reload. Each reload belongs to, as it says, back one, back two. If we click reload now, what will happen will be showing you now just UK racing showing there, and down further then we get into tomorrow's Australian racing. And the R stands for racing and the V stands for venue. So these are the venues that will all be covered by back two if we left it the way it is. Now, if you want to micromanage a meeting, a race or a meeting, you can say, for example, you might see that it's a heavy track at Market Raisin and you don't want to bet there. Well, you can untick it, and that will mean the bot won't bet on any Market Raisin races. Okay, but you must untick auto reload if you are going to do that. There's enough races in there. There's about 24 hours of races in there, so it doesn't matter if you have auto reload unticked if you're going to micromanage it like that. But keep in mind that if there's any time changes or that to the races, they won't be updated every half hour. Okay, I've never micromanaged my bot at all as far as meetings and that go, but it's up to you. So if you're not going to change the venues or the races, not going to delete certain races, you may find that, for example, here, that Market Race in this race here is amateurs only, and you might not want to bet on that. Well, if you're betting jockeys, chances are you won't have it, but if you're betting trainers, the trainer may have a horse in the amateur race, so you could untick it. Okay, but it's up to you. But that shows that you can adjust the races to what you want. Show market, as I suggest you don't use this, because what it does, it draws more data requests from Betfair. I mean, you won't get data charges from Betfair or anything if you leave just the way it is with not showing the market, because you can see there we're only drawing half a request per second, so it's way under, I think about 20 requests per second or something. Starts getting into a bit of trouble. If you have that ticked and click on Market Raisin, you can see now it brings up the field and the prices, but you don't need to see that because the bot reads all that without having to have it visually displayed. And you can see our API requests start increasing now, more than treble what it is without show the market. So always keep show the market unticked. The next thing you want to look at is software manual. If you click on that, it will take you to all these videos and a manual about how to use the software. Betfair Help will obviously take you to Betfair and Help. The UK wallet, well, it's all one wallet now, so whereas before you had to have an Australian wallet to bet in Australia, you don't now. So if you've got money in your Betfair account, you can bet in Australian racing. I do encourage you to do that, especially with this bot, because the jockeys in that have far more rides than they do in the UK, and it just gives you a completely new angle to look at racing. Like today, for example, we had 5 meetings, although one was cancelled halfway through because of a dust storm. But we had 40 races as opposed to, and in the weekend we can have over 100 races on a Saturday. So there's plenty to choose from. Here on commissions, I always have mine set at 8, because if the bot is going between Great Britain and Australia, you want to make sure that a few states in Australia, their Betfair commission is nearly 8%. So you want to be making sure that that's covered. By having 8 in there, even if it's in the UK, it just means you're making an extra 3% profit, because the bot's allowing for an 8% commission when it does its target. It chases its targets. Okay, so what happens up the top here, we've got the current bet, that'll tell you what bets are happening right now. Cancel bets are any bets that the bot has cancelled due to not being matched. And the back results are showing you the results that the bot's obviously recording. And these, you can click on the column and it'll go from the highest number to the lowest, or vice versa there. Okay, you can see this one's only been running for a few hours because we just got 1.9 bot today and we're testing it again. So that's why we always lose our results. When we start a new bot, a new version, we lose the last lot of results. And that's the reason also why we keep our odds, our betting so small, because we're testing bots and we're, losing the information that, so we don't want to be using big numbers here. You can see this though over about the 2 hours, it's made 3 cents profit, so no big deal. But the interesting thing to look at is some of the prices here. See this one here, $28 winner, which is it was only going for 10. It was only going for a 10p target because it can only play the minimum it can place is 1p. We actually got 15p over our target. Okay, so what we have next up there is the log. Now the log is very, very important if you want to know what the bot's doing, and you may, for example, say, how come it didn't bet such and such? Well, if you go down here, it will tell you why the bot didn't bet. Okay, so that's learn to read the logs and it'll tell you everything that you need to know. We can see here this race back 3 at Warwick Farm in Australia. Handicap race, tells us who the trainer was, and the jockey. We had Jason Collins as one of our jockeys. It tells us the horse, gives us the ID number in Betfair. Then it tells us selected favourite. We've got any horse, any position in the favourite ladder. The horse's name is Rebel Miss. The amount matched in the current market is $186,000. And there's 11 runners, so it's matching everything that we need so far. We've got a minimum price of 2 and a maximum price of 40. The horse's price there, you can see there, is 6.6, and specified favourite between £1 and $7, and that tells us here the favourite is within that range because the favourite is at 1.99. And then it goes on to place the bet. And then after the race is finished, it does the calculations here and tells us it's placed the bet there. If we go down a little bit further, this is the result. So the result was the bet was placed for 2p. The bet was settled, we lost 2p, and then it tells us the distributing losses, etc. down here. So at any time you can see exactly what's happening. So learn to read the log. The next thing along here, these numbers along the top here are actually our staking tabs, not to be confused with back 1, back 2, back 3. These are the staking tabs, and they must be ticked with a tick there to enable the tab, and you would need at least one tab ticked. But if you're going to be using jockeys, you could get away with just the one tab being ticked. But if you're using trainers, at least have 3 or 4 or 5. I've got 10 because 10 is the default amount ticked. So if a trainer's got 3 or 4 horses that qualify, the first horse would go in tab 1, the second and 2, 3 and 4. So that's why you need more than one tab enabled. While we've got at the tabs, if we look at the top here, distributed losses for back 1 right through to back 6. These numbers here tell us how much loss each tab is carrying, and that's the loss it's carrying is what the new targets will be for the next bet. It's telling me tab 1, back 1 here is 0, and if we look down here, we see there hasn't been a back 1 bet yet. So that's 0. Tab 1 is carrying a 7p loss, So tab 2, we can see there it lost 2, lost 1, lost 1 there, 4. So it's carrying losses of 7 because what's it doing? We've got 4 loss there, 4p lost there over 3 races. So I'll show you in the next video the profit delta is 1p per losing bet. So that's the 4 that we've lost in stake money, plus it's added 1p for every losing bet. That gives us our 7. So in our next bet, the bot will be trying to win 7p plus our target of 10p. So it'll be placing again a bet to win 17p. Okay, and on this one here is the tab profit. Oh, just one thing on the staking. If you want to know more about the staking, there's another video down further that tells you exactly how the staking recovery works in the bot. Tab profit. This is the profit for each back 1 through to back 6, and we can see here 0, -4, -4, -2, -6, and 19. Tab 6 is running in 19p profit. But you can see there it's only 11 races, 11 bets that we've had, period of 2 hours. So that's that there. If the clear results, and if you want to clear the results, you can just push that a few times and it clears some results out of it. Clear back 2, 3, 4. That actually clears the staking out of it. So it brings it. So say for example, if one of these got a bit high and you thought, oh, that's a bit high for me, then you would go, say for example, if it was this one here at the end, back 6, you would go over to clear back 6, click it. This would reset back to 0. Okay, so you can do that, but as I've explained in the next video, we do have stop losses numbers in that, so you don't really have to do that. But if you're sort of a panicky sort of person, then obviously you can do that. So let's go back to the settings. Okay, and here we've got the profit again. This is just a duplication. Well, that is the tab profit there, and we don't have anything in 2, so obviously that profit here will match this profit here. Okay, so that is about it for this side of the bot. And just keep in mind that that grey area is supposed to be grey unless you're showing the market. So in the next video, in the next tutorial video, we'll talk about this side here, okay, the back 1 to back 6. So I hope to see you in the next video. This is Steve signing off, and thanks for your time.